Alrighty then, welcome back. Here we're going to talk about Jeff Sessions saying that marijuana is only slightly less awful. And I really, this is a direct quote. I'm not making this up. Marijuana is only slightly less awful than heroin. Well, I don't know where this crackerjack is getting this information from, but honestly, honest to goodness, Mr. Sessions, Your Honor, sir, this is just unbelievable. Jeff Sessions, the U.S. Attorney General, had some typically harsh words to say about marijuana today at a time when legal pot supporters in Massachusetts and elsewhere are on high alert over how the new government will treat the drug. In prepared remarks, okay, so these are remarks that he has sat and thought about. This isn't some flippant bullshit he just came up with out of nowhere. This is what he actually thinks, and we all know what he thinks because we've heard people such as Judge Janine Pirro talk about marijuana as if it's from the devil. And I could assure you that it is not, my ladies and gentlemen. It is for sure not, and it could actually do a lot more good than bad. So I am so opposed to this. It's a travesty. So seems here that he says, and this is a direct quote, I realize this may be an unfashionable belief in a time of growing tolerance of drug use, but too many lives are at stake to worry about being fashionable. I reject the idea that America will be a better place if marijuana is sold in every corner store, and I am astonished to hear people suggest we can solve our heroin crisis by legalizing marijuana. So people can trade one life wrecking dependency for another that's only slightly less awful. Our nation needs to say clearly once again that using drugs will destroy your life. Well, I can assure you that anybody that's interested in heroin, I mean, you're talking about two different markets here. I could assure you that anybody who's in the market for heroin is not looking for marijuana. That's two different things. That's like not even comparing apples and oranges. That's like comparing apples to a cactus, Mr. Sessions, sir, Your Honor, whatever. This is just ridiculous. To that end, he continued. He said he supports a renewed drug awareness campaign on the terrible truth about drugs, like the ones rolled out decades ago in the 80s and 90s. The 80s and 90s, sir, back when everybody was lying to us about how bad marijuana is, because the drug companies wanted to pump us up with all their medications and chemicals. Anyway, we saw how campaign stress and prevention brought down drug use and addiction. We can do this again, educating people and telling them the terrible truth about drugs and addiction will result in better choices. We can reduce the use of drugs, save lives, and turn back the surge in crime that inevitably follows in the wake of increased drug abuse. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it says here, this is needless to say an extreme take. It's true that a portion of marijuana users develop a dependency on the drug, and researchers have found evidence of withdrawal symptoms among heavy users who stop. But the rate of addiction is much lower, you hear this? Much lower than it is for habitual users of alcohol or tobacco. Now that stuff will kill you. This is the stuff that'll really kill you. But anyway, and using marijuana is known to be much less dangerous than either of those legal vices. Listen, I love me a drink. I could chew on some tobacco till the sun comes up. But marijuana is nowhere near as bad as those two things. People will drink alcohol and do all kinds of messed up stuff. They'll think they're Superman. They'll get behind a vehicle when they shouldn't be. Run people over. Marijuana. The most that'll happen is they'll eat way too many tater chips and never mind. Opioid overdoses killed nearly 2,000 people last year in Massachusetts alone. Addiction to painkillers and other opioid products can set in fast. It's a perplexingly difficult addiction to beat, and use of heroin in the region has become even more dangerous amid the rise of a new, highly concentrated drug called fentanyl. You can't overdose on marijuana. You can't overdose on marijuana. You can get alcohol poisoning, but you can't overdose on marijuana. You can, and it's just impossible. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on here. This is what's on Jeff Sessions' mind. We have a million other problems. I'm telling you, if we put a nice little tax on that marijuana, we could see this country turn around so fast it would blow our socks off, and we'd be able to put on some real nice leather shoes in return just because of what it could do for our economy. So I'm gonna really, there's some things I really agree with Jeff Sessions, but this has got to be something that I am very much against. I'd like to know what you all think. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree with him? Do you disagree? And why? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Over and out.